conversation there. Sorry about that. Let's look at the morning's newspapers. Let's start with this front page of the Times. Why don't you pick us up here, Alicia?
Yeah, so this is all about the EU return of the youth mobility scheme. And this was basically a rule that we had when we were part of the European Union that allowed young people to have a fixed amount of time that they could travel freely within other members of the EU. This was mainly for people under the age of 30, I believe, and usually the cap was about 2 years or sometimes a bit longer. So basically, since Brexit, there's been so many discussions about trying to kind of revamp this in a way that doesn't involve us actually rejoining the European Union. And the latest peg to that is Rachel Reeves saying that this actually could help with this huge black hole that is kind of impending before the budget. She is saying that by allowing this youth mobility scheme, that influx of people coming from the EU, young people, they'll be working, they'll be spending money, that could actually increase our GDP by enough to actually mitigate some of the tax rises. I mean, all of this it's not certain. It's all predictions, but there's a prediction in here that says it could increase GDP by 0.4%, but in 10 years. And, you know, I don't know about you, but I think this impending big black hole seems a bit more urgent than in the next 10 years' time, so I'm not quite convinced that this will do the trick. No,
but every little helps, as a famous supermarket once said, I think. Look, isn't there a deal with the EU to be made here? Isn't there something? There's a quid pro quo about this. If we allow this, then they have access to our farming rights. I think the government are quite serious about making this change.
They are. It depends how serious the EU are in allowing the UK to be part of any other deal, because it's not in their interests, quite frankly, to do so. And you can see that this will be a benefit for EU citizens to come over here and be able to work freely. I'm not sure that the UK are going to get anything anywhere near that in return.
Right. But if it fills some of that black hole, perhaps it will be alluring to the government. We'll see. They're going to announce some stuff at conference. Maybe that's one of the moves. All right, move us on to this in the Mirror about the Labour Party and the Electoral Commission.
Yes, this has been the ongoing saga of Morgan McSweeney and Labour together, and the donation of a cool sort of £750,000 to get Keir Starmer elected. So I think that there's been a lot about this story. It is one of those Westminster stories, I think, that most people will say, what's the matter with it? In our circles, this is bad because Electoral Commission rules state you have to declare any donation, you have to declare them quickly within a certain period of time, 28 days, and it has to be all above board and transparent. And it seems that Morgan McSweeney, when he was at the think tank Labour Together, didn't, in a timely fashion, register these donations. So the Conservative Party, I know, have been pushing for the Electoral Commission to reopen the case. They have decided they're not going to do so. No. They said, we've done it once, they have been fined for bad behaviour, there is nothing more to see. I don't think this is going to go away, and it's quite interesting that this is only the smallest piece of information that has come out into the press. It's almost as if that's trying to be hidden away.
Well, perhaps. I mean, I did have Nick Timothy on the show the other day asking him about this when the Labour Party had made it quite clear that they thought that everything had been done and dusted, that fine had been made. He said there was more to be said, but the Electoral Commission obviously have a different perspective on that. Yeah,
they do. And I mean, nonetheless, I think this will be a huge sigh of relief for Labour's top team, the fact that this probe has been shut. I mean, after weeks of a really turbulent time, lots of really bad headlines, lots of just general bad feelings within the Labour Party, I think they'll all be really happy that this has potentially been put to bed for now.
Potentially. I think Mr McSweeney's name will be back in the headlines for something else pretty soon. I think we can all probably guarantee that. All right, let's move on to this. I completely forgot to think about this, that Mark Carney was the Prime Minister of Canada, and, of course, they're playing each other in the final later on today, so they're sitting across the table. This is a story, though, about ID cards.
It is. This is the story of the week, I suppose. It's all we've heard about is these digital ID cards. And this is, of course, the very much not new idea that everyone in the UK would be required to have a digital ID card on their phone. Every single time it's been mentioned in the past, 25 years or so, has been shot down pretty quickly. And it seems here is a very similar story. Keir Starmer thinks that this will put an end to illegal migration. He is saying that this will basically stop the black economy. This is illegal migrants working without documentation. But of course, there's not really any evidence to actually show that that would be the case. It may potentially hinder some of them working, but is it really going to stop people from making that journey from their country? Probably not, it seems. And that's only one of the many setbacks and issues. I mean, there's a cybersecurity expert warning today that this could open us up to hacking. So there's all sorts of issues with this. And I think it has very much begged the question of why now, in a time, why introduce a policy that seems to be quite unpopular in a time when Keir Starmer is really kind of clutching at straws.
Well, Josh McAllister, the minister, was quite keen to tell me that it was all about modernising the British state. And so he's always been in favour of this, and it's a great idea.
And it's quite interesting, isn't it? That's the line that's being peddled out. I'm not sure that it's going to modernise the state. I'm not sure that it'll even get through the House of Commons at this rate, because there's so many people that are against it. But I do love the fact that we get the Red Roses rugby shirts held up there by the Prime Minister. Hopefully they're going to beat Canada this afternoon.
They're on quite the streak, 32 games I think it is, so let's make it 33 today. All right, final quick thought, because I'm quite into this line on the front of the Telegraph, that the King may have had a role to play in Trump's seeming rhetorical, at least, shift on Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We'll remember just how stark that shift was last week. I mean, it went from Trump kind of saying that not Putin, sorry, that was a terrible slip to make. Zelensky would have to rescind some of his territory in order to have a ceasefire and have a lasting peace. That totally U-turned, and Trump actually said that Ukraine have the power to get all of their territory back. And here, it seems that Zelensky's advisors are saying that this was due to King Charles. It was due to that second state visit that Trump had recently, and that really might be the thing that changed Trump's mind.
Well, if that is true, great news, and congratulations to King Charles. Claire, I've not had time for you to come in on this one, but you're back with us next hour, I think. So let's talk again then. Alicia, Claire, thanks so much for that. All right, stay with us. Plenty more to come after this short break as we look ahead again to the beginning of Labour Party conference in Liverpool.
I witnessed the complete destruction of a place linked to my childhood memories.
This is insane.